tryptophan is something that does make us tired. It raises our sleep hormone and does allow us to, have a good night's sleep. So turkey is pretty much one of the only foods that I'm aware of that has high amounts of tryptophan. Some other foods may have somewhat lower trace amounts, but turkey is definitely a good one. But I just really more wanted to talk about how so many different lifestyle factors, including food, are very, very helpful in making sure we get a good night's sleep. And also how having a good night's sleep is very, very helpful, for just a healthy lifestyle in general. So there's, physical activity, healthy eating, right? And living a nutritious lifestyle and good sleep are three things that really go together to help us have a healthy lifestyle. Getting enough sleep can also be very, very helpful for our blood sugar levels and can help us with weight loss and things of that sort. It also can just help us have more energy, and eating the right foods as well can also help us have more energy when we're eating foods that aren't as good for us, or very highly processed foods or high in simple carbohydrates. That can actually make us more tired as well. We may get initially more energy, but then our blood sugar will crash and we'll get very tired very, very quickly. So things like whole grains and whole foods in general, like fruits, vegetables, that can help us, preserve energy. That can help keep our blood sugars higher for longer, and we won't get that crash. We won't feel as tired, but will also help keep us full, will help keep us full throughout the night. So we want to make sure dinner, especially, that we're eating tons of whole foods, whole grains, things of that sort, so that it does, keep us full and we're able to have a good night's sleep. Because sometimes when we're not eating so well before bed, not eating so well at dinner time, we're not going to have as much of a good sleep because we may wake up hungry. People may eat like fatty foods or things of that sort, may have acid reflux, and that can trigger that for people who do suffer from acid reflux and even people who don't. So just making sure that we're eating properly can be very, very helpful in making sure we're having a good night's sleep. And we do want to make sure we're having 8 hours of sleep a night. This can be very, very helpful. Also, physical activity will help keep us, tired, help us have a good night's sleep as well. So all of these factors kind of work together in making sure that we're living a healthy lifestyle.
So I'm going to do a soup and a zucchini fritter today. So the soup is actually really simple ingredients. It's only actually, 1, 2, 3, a little bit of salt and a basil leaf. So probably 5 ingredients and a little tiny squirt of a light olive oil for the base of the pan. It did say in the recipe use butter. I'm not going to use butter. I'm just going to use this. I love this. It's really light. So get that pan nice and hot. And then we're going to start off by putting some leeks. Some leeks in there. Leeks is in the onion family, and they smell so good. I love leeks. And I love the taste of leeks as well. Should be half a teaspoon of salt. So I'm guessing because I couldn't find my measuring. I have some potatoes in water already chopped here. I peeled them this morning. I chopped them ready. I tried to keep them around the same size so they all work at the same time. So I'm just going to drain them. I'm probably not going to use all of them just because I made soup previously this morning and it was actually a lot. So I'm just going to maybe use half of these. We're going to pop the bay leaf in. And then I'm going to put a little bit of pepper. And this is just, a cheap meal. It's not bad at all. All right. So that's kind of like where I want it to be at. All you have to do, add your broth. You can use veggie broth or chicken or bone, whatever you prefer. I'm going to put that just over the potatoes. Right. And then lid it, bring to a boil, let it simmer for a while, and then you'll blend, and there's your soup. That's the one that I blended earlier. All right, that's that recipe. Now I'm going to do the zucchini fritter. Looking at the recipe this morning, it was actually really funny. you know, they say try and get as much excess water out of this as possible. I've been squeezing this and squeezing, and you know, you grate your zucchinis and you can see it looks like nothing, but that's actually 3 zucchinis, like 3 smallish zucchinis. It said for 2 large and I had 3 small. So this side I did 3 small. So I'm going to carry on squeezing as much as I can. It said the more water you get out of it, the better. So, and I've given this plenty of squeezes all morning. Right, so there's your zucchini. I'm gonna fluff that up a little bit. That's not all. Then we're gonna add, always use whole wheat if you can. I don't actually have whole wheat breadcrumbs, so I have a little bit of flour and regular breadcrumbs, Italian seasoning breadcrumbs. It was 1/3 cup flour, 1/3 cup of Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. Okay, so I'm gonna add that. Then I'm gonna add 2 eggs. I'm gonna get my pan hot, ready, so you can see it go in. I'm gonna scramble the egg. Always do the eggs separate. Check for freshness. I'm going to just stick that in there, scramble it, and then put it in there. Right. Take that out of the eggs. It's 2 large eggs. Hopefully the measurements right. You've got like a nice little, oh yeah, and then I nearly forgot this. Just we want to have 1/2 teaspoon. And this ingredient apparently is actually really important. A little bit of salt, of course, some pepper. We'll stir that up. And I'm going to make them into like a little cake. These can go in the oven, but I'm just going to saute them on the top of the stove so you can get to kind of hear the sizzle and see it going on. You get about 6 or 7 fritters out of this. You can hear it go in. Make another one. Can you hear the little sizzle? And also, if you want to like make a little dip with this, you could put Greek yogurt with a little bit of lemon and garlic in it. Okay, so this is our finished product. We have our zucchini fritters. We have our leek and potato soup. And the water this week, it's mango and blueberry.
So I am going to today make a Mediterranean farro salad. This is a really, really good whole grain. It's very coarse. There's different ways that you can find it. I like to find it with as much of the bran on it as possible because that's where you get the good fiber. It takes a while to cook. It takes about 40 minutes because it is so coarse and there is that bran around it. So this is 1 cup of uncooked farro, a nice amount for like 2 or 3 people. A really, really, really great whole grain to bring into our repertoire. So we have our farro, and I love this salad because there's really, really nice ingredients that go in here and the flavors go very nicely. I'm just going to put a glove on because I like to mix it all together. But before I put in the ingredients, I'm going to make the dressing. We're making kind of like a Mediterranean type of dressing. So we're going to do some olive oil. It doesn't need too much dressing because it is like an olive oil, lemon-based dressing. And then all the ingredients just together, it just needs a little bit of dressing. So we have some olive oil. You take about like half of a lemon and get the lemon juice. And then we're going to use some red wine vinegar. about a tablespoon of that, which gives it a really, really nice flavor. That may have been a little bit more than a tablespoon, but that's fine. Then it smells already so good. Then we have some dried oregano. You can definitely leave this out if you want, but it does give a very, very nice taste. You don't want to use too much dried oregano because dried herbs in general are a little bit more pungent and they have a stronger smell and taste. So just use like a quarter of a teaspoon. That should be enough. And then just a little bit of garlic powder. And then we're going to just mix all that up, right? Because we need to mix up the oil and the vinegar. It looks really, really nice. It smells nice. And it just looks like a really nice Mediterranean dressing. Again, you don't need too much of it. You can put as little or as much as you want. I like to keep it on the lower end. So now we're going to get to our salad. So I'm going to put our dressing aside. And the first ingredient that I'm going to put in are some cucumbers. So I have some chopped up cucumbers. I like to keep the skin on it. Again, it gives us some fiber. So if you do want to keep the skin on it, make sure you're using cucumbers that you can eat the skin and not like those are the tougher outside. So we have some cucumbers. The next thing we have is some chopped tomatoes. I use some heirloom cherry tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes are a little bit sweeter, so it adds a really, really nice flavor into our farro salad. It's all going to end up being mixed. I just like to kind of put things all on the side, makes it prettier. And then when I use my hand to mix it with the dressing, everything will mix. This is just how I like to do it. You can do it however you want. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some chopped up roasted pepper. So you can use raw pepper if you'd like, but the roasted pepper definitely gives it a different flavor profile. And it's just so delicious. I mean, I happen to love roasted peppers. And I just think it adds a little bit more like a warmness to this salad, if that makes sense. So we have our roasted red peppers. Then we are going to add some sun-dried tomatoes. Now, I know sun-dried tomatoes is almost one of these acquired tastes. Some people don't like it. I don't love sun-dried tomatoes, but I do like the texture that it gives. It's like a chewier texture. So I definitely like to use a little bit. I don't use too much, but I like to use a little bit. And I'm just going to show you what this looks like so far. It's so beautiful, so many colors. We're really eating the rainbow in this salad. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of feta cheese on top. You don't have to do this step. I happen to love feta cheese. If you don't like feta cheese, I would leave this out. You can use goat cheese too, but it's definitely going to be a little bit of a different like taste. The saltiness goes really, really nice in here. So we'll just use my hand there. I'm going to use some feta cheese. You can totally leave the cheese out if you want. It's not necessary. All of the textures, the flavors, everything goes really, really nicely. And then the last thing we're going to do, actually, I'm going to do after we put in our dressing. So I'm going to put our dressing in. So let's mix it in again. I'm going to sprinkle that over. Put all that in. It smells so good. Then I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to just kind of mix all of those yummy flavors and textures and everything together. It is so delicious. It smells so good. Again, I wish you guys could smell it from there, but you can't. It's super easy to make. This is a really good lunch also, and a really good side for dinner. And then the last thing I'm going to do is take a little bit of parsley, some chopped up parsley, and add it to the top as my garnish. And that is it. It's super, super easy, super delicious. I know I still have a lot of farro at the bottom, didn't get all of it, but you guys get the idea. So many good flavors in there, so many good nutritious ingredients in there, vitamins, minerals, protein, whole grains, fiber, and it's just a very good meal to help us feel full, satiated before a good night's sleep.